Welcome to part 13 of Jedi Fallen Order. We are in search of another Miktrull Tomb. At the end of the previous episode, I took the time to get Cal the Shockwave ability, also known as the Force Repulse. The Repulse is super useful for knocking opponents off guard. It may not do that much damage and it does take away from your Force bar, but it does gain you an advantage, especially for security droids. See, like right here, I got this machine gunner on my ass as well as two security droids, but repulse them, looking for the extra gunner, which I think I just killed already. But now I have to deal with the KX droids, which not only do I have the dual saber to make my life easier, I also got the repulse, which I could just use to knock them off their feet. And it honestly does not take that much force bar from what I've gathered. It only looks like you're using a fifth of the bar whenever you're doing the move. So, whenever you're using the force repulse and you're constantly swinging your lightsaber, you'll never run out of force energy. Or you should, in theory, unless you're just being reckless with force abilities. Never be reckless with your force abilities, you might just put yourself in a bind doing that.
You want to climb up a zip line? This motor should do the trick. How does it feel?
Yes, I did make BB1. I did make BD1 red. Shit. That is my favorite color scheme for the droid, and in Star Wars Survivor, I also have him in red. And I think in that game, or maybe in this game, it's named after Yavin. The color scheme is called Yavin Prime. Not so much the Forest Moon from Episode 4, but the gas giant the Forest Moon orbits. But now that we have the upgrade for BD1, we can now go upwards on zip lines. You need that in order to complete the game. In fact, it's pretty much canon that you just get this upgrade. Because, like many things in Jedi Survivor, this move comes back, or this upgrade rather. And let me just say that Cal Kestis is probably the greatest protagonist of any game because he at least keeps his shit in between games. He doesn't forget any abilities except for a few, but he gets better abilities in the sequel, it doesn't really matter. It's not like you relearn Force Push in the sequel, you could just do that right out of the gate.
I'd like to see you try.
Scout Trooper thinks he's someone. I admire his bravado, but gonna show him real quickly. He didn't fall over the ledge. Oh, I wanted to recreate the climax from Phantom Menace. Hell, I didn't even splice him in half either. That was just a half-assed recreation.
What is that? Get away from it! Open fire!
Guardians of the Tomb. Sounds like a 50s B movie. Another Purge baton. These guys are among the trickier Purge troopers to deal with. It's mainly because they have psych out attacks and are just overall aggressive. Perfect parrying is your best friend here. Well, perfect parrying is your best friend throughout the game, but doubly so with those guys.
A worker left their tools in a hurry. They were anxious to locate relics, but also careless of the history buried here.
Archaeology is a bitch. Somebody call Indiana Jones. We can't use that rope up there, so we just have to jump down. And from there, we just zip up to one of the walls and parkour. Parkour with the Force, which is better than regular parkour for some reason. I don't know why. It's just parkour. From here, you would go for that grassy area on the wall, but there is a secret behind you, so I'm gonna go for that first.
My men will double their efforts. We'll get inside, Officer Crane.
Yep, Cal's got excellent grip strength. I imagine the moss on the rock being gross and slippery as hell. Which it is, but not to our protagonist. Hell, our protagonist is so cool he can fight Sith without even thinking about it.
Cal Kestis.
I was kidding, I don't want to fight you now.
Oh yes, I know your name, your past, and most importantly, about Cordova. Tell me, where did he hide the holocron? Outstanding.
What was that stance? That is honestly one of the most untrained stances I've ever seen, Cal. Come on, step it up. You're supposed to be a better Jedi. Anyway, the second sister. She is slightly tougher than her first encounter, but not by much. She does have a stagger bar, so whenever you press the attack or perfect parry, the bar will go down. The second sister will have two unblockables, one of which is a downward stab that she'll commonly do more often than the other one. You simply dodge left or right with that one, she'll never hit you if you keep moving. The other unblockable is a seemingly simple slash, even though it's not really that seemingly simple. And that's only the first phase. There's another phase before she goes into automatic pilot. She'll toss in a few more unblockable attacks, one of which does not have the red hazard light, so you have to know when to dodge.
Very well. You won't dodge the beast.
She's probably right about that. For this second sister encounter, you have to get her health bar down to halfway. You can't cheese it like in the first encounter, you'll actually die. At least it's not Ogdo-Bogdo spawned. Nothing in any of these games are as cheap as Ogdo-Bogdo spawn. That is one of the most stupid bosses in video game history. You dodge out of the way of the tongue, yet the tongue still grabs you and you die instantly. Now that is some bullshit. Come on, sister. Stop dodging around. I only have a couple more hits to go. Let's make this count.
That was nothing. What would Jara Jabal think of you now? You will not defeat me. You bleed like all the others. You'll die a failure. You're learning. Not quite as gifted as Seer's last apprentice, but not bad.
You've been keeping count.
I'm surprised she didn't tell you. Sarah was never good at keeping secrets.
And you know her so well, huh?
She was weak. Cracked in an Imperial torture chair. Surrendered the location of her naive Padawan. They would never have found me.
If it wasn't for her, she betrayed me.
Trilla.
In the flesh.
I won't let you manipulate me.
So sure are you? When faced with the choice to protect herself or her Padawan, she chose self-interest. She'll sell you out too.
Well, I can handle myself.
Can you afford to take that chance? Your new master harbors great darkness. The look on her face when she saw what they had done to me, as I am now. She turned, exposing her true nature. She used the dark side.
She cut herself off from the Force.
Oh? How long before she cracks and betrays you too? Is that who you want beside you when you find the holocron? What would Jaro Tapal say?
You have no right to mention his name.
I wonder, what would he think if he could see his Padawan now, skulking in the shadows with a betrayer, granting her access to a legion of impressionable students?
No, I won't let anyone touch them.
I thought the same thing once.
Cal is pissed, and apparently Seer's a bad Jedi. To be fair, most of the Jedi Order was corrupt, but nobody ever wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to talk about how the Jedi were shut off from all emotions and connections, and how... Okay, people do talk about how Mace Windu is a dick, which I agree, Mace Windu is a dick.
You saved my life. And got us closer to the tomb.
I do like me some Mace Windu, but he is probably the biggest asshole in the entire series. And he's a good guy too, which is the really bizarre part. Even more bizarre that he uses Dark Force abilities even though he's a Jedi. And he's not even a Dark Jedi or a Grey Jedi, he's just the simple Jedi. What? Mace Windu, what are you?
We found it. Feels different than the other tomb. I don't know. I don't like it.
The Tomb of Miktrull. Oh, this is gonna be interesting. This tomb is tricky to navigate, and thus begins the long stretch of complex mazes in this game.
But, Seer, why didn't you tell me?
Because she's a liar.
You... How?
I rerouted communication the moment you tried to contact her. Slicing encrypted transmissions was always a pastime of hers. She taught me one. There's no technique Sarah has that I haven't perfected.
That's disturbing to know. Oh, wait a minute. Can she eavesdrop on our conversation whenever she pleases? And how come she hasn't done that before? Anyway, there is going to be tension in the air between Cal and Seer. And Grease. Oh yeah, Grease is in the game too. There are some points where Grease just straight up drops out of the narrative and then comes back. He's like, I'm gonna do my thing and then I'm gonna peace out. Bye. There is actually a good conversation later on in the game between Cal and Grease, so I can't complain too much. I just wish Grease was in the game more. Anyway, we got another Tomb Guardian Legend android here, but this one is different. You can't force push to stun him. It's like we need an opposite reaction of pushing in order to stun this thing. And a funny thing about this scenario, Cal is about to learn Force Pull, but ain't that one of the most fundamental Force abilities you can learn? I'm pretty sure Pull was the first thing that Luke learned in Episode 5 that was not clairvoyant, so what the hell, game? What the hell? All I'm saying is that learning Force Push before Force Pull is weird. This Tomb Guardian here has a slightly goldish tint to distinguish itself from the rest of the Tomb Guardians, which have this rusty metal look to them. Now if the Guardians have the rusted metal silver look, then you can force push their cores. If they're gold looking, that's when you need the Force Pull. Making sure there are no secrets in here or anything. Or just a way out. This game really seems to like having the main objective in non-distinct crevices. You'll think you're finding a secret or some sort of trinket, but no, it's just the way forward. And sometimes you can't even find the way forward because it's just that damn well hidden. This room is a bitch. Actually, this whole tomb sucks. Why am I even here? Ah, there we go. This is the way. Or at least I think it's the way. Hopefully this is the way. There are a fair few lanterns in here that will burn away these vines. You're going to need these in order to proceed.
My friend, these devices appear to simulate this planet's gravitational pull. I can't help but see it as a motif.
The hard push and pull of some of these traps are not based on the Force. It's a pretty interesting take on these mechanisms. They operate more on the gravitational force of the planet, which is different. There are no similarities between gravitational force and the Force.
You're running out of time.
For what?
My scouts located an artifact of interest at the rear of this tomb. Even now, I'm studying it, learning its secrets. It seems Cordova was rather taken with the Zephyr. Perhaps enough to hide the holocron amongst their bones.
We'll see how much you learn.
Aw, crap. We need to get that artifact before the second sister, also known as Trilla, does. Good thing there's no time limit, otherwise I'd be screwed because I have no idea how to get around this place at all. In fact, I may have to cut a few minutes of this episode short because it's really just me wandering around trying to look for a way out. Yeah, you see that? In the previous part I mentioned that whenever you're in dual stance and you do a kill animation on a stormtrooper, Cal will just switch back to normal stance and take him out that way. And then just switch back to double saber mode. It's really bizarre. That's one thing I'm glad that was fixed in Jedi Survivor. As well as, you know, the plethora of many different kill animations. Votive candles, oh, that's what these lanterns are called. The most calming offerings brought to, and then you could just read the rest in the pause menu. Well, it's better than nothing. And speaking of better than nothing, we got a new lightsaber material. This one is Hazy and Smelt.
What I found here is disconcerting.
Okay, so it looks like we got a couple of different ways to go here. There's one behind this wall which looks to be a secret. And it's impassable at the moment, so I have to come back. There should be something back in the main chamber. And what do you know, it is. I bet you it's another secret. Well, there's two factions fighting again. Do these guys really stand a chance against the Tomb Guardian? I'm curious. Well, they're doing alright so far, but the Guardian's not really doing much. Oh yeah, that guy's totally dead. Wow, guys. Wow. I can't even say the stormtroopers are not hitting anything, they're just not doing that much damage. No wonder why the Empire lost the Civil War. These weapons suck. Okay, it's my time to shine. Never thought I'd feel bad for a stormtrooper.
A relic from the ancient Zepho. I sense great vanity and extravagance in this period of history.
Age of Extravagance. Hopefully a better movie than Age of Ultron. This Guardian right here, I can't really tell the shade of color this guy is, but he's also susceptible to pull. Not that that matters because this guy is already halfway dead. It's a good thing the stormtroopers were there to be cannon fodder.
Can you slice it? Hey, BD, in here. Oh, you found something.
Greasy money. I actually like that name, Greasy Money. Wonder what color that is. It's probably green or something, or whatever the equivalent to the color of money in the Star Wars universe is. And there's also the fact that each planet possibly has their own currency. Namely Tatooine. Yes, that backwater has their own currency. And it sucks. Anyway, what we need to do is access this panel in order to get this doorway open. The gravitational power of the Force, which is so strong it negates other Force users. Or at least untrained Force users. Sorry, Cal, you just suck. Anyway, stay tuned for part 14 where we dive deeper into the Tomb of Miktrull.